Hey YouTube, we are here today to tell you about our favorite new restaurant that we have discovered on Carnival Cruise Lines. We're going to talk to you about how to make reservations, we're going to show you some scrumptious pictures of the menu, and we're going to tell you how much it costs.
Cruise tip, it's free.
So let's jump in. Let's start with some good news and some bad news. The good news, like I said, we found our new favorite restaurant on Carnival Cruise Lines. The bad news, it's only on one single ship, Mardi Gras. That is until at least this fall when the Carnival Celebration is released.
Right. So when the Mardi Gras was introduced, she had a whole bunch of new bars and restaurants that we've never seen before. And to be honest with you, on the Celebration, if you saw one of our previous videos, they're changing some of those bars, but this restaurant is staying put.
Chibang. Carnival describes Chibang as both Mexican and Chinese traditions in an atmosphere that's both modern and elegant. When we first heard about it, we didn't do a lot of research ahead of time intentionally. We wanted to be surprised. We thought it was going to be a Mexican and Chinese fusion type of restaurant, but that's not the case.
No. Carnival.com's write-up about this venue actually talks about how it's a mix and match experience where you can kind of go on this flavor exploration.
So it's a Chinese restaurant and a Mexican restaurant under one roof, which we thought was kind of odd at first, but we realized it's quite brilliant. You've got two restaurants to choose from in one.
Yeah, so if you have a picky eater who doesn't like Asian food,
get the nachos from the Mexican side of the menu.
Or if you have someone that's maybe done a little too much on their drinks package and is trying to avoid the carbs from tortillas,
get the lettuce wraps from the Asian side of the menu. It's perfect. Carnival describes the restaurant as modern and elegant, and I'll tell you, from the time you arrive at the restaurant to the bright red wall and that yellow Chibang logo that just pops out at you, to the time you sit down, I mean, you truly do feel like you've made reservations at a nice restaurant.
And while we love the attentiveness of the main dining room experience, the servers and the staff and everyone that's in Chibang just takes such good care of us.
Yeah.
It's a great experience.
Super friendly, absolutely. But let's back up for a minute. How do you make reservations? How much does it cost? Reservations are done in the Carnival Fun Hub app, but there's a key thing to know about reservations. You get to make a reservation once your dining time has happened. So if you have anytime dining, you can book a reservation that evening for Chibang anytime in the anytime dining window, typically 5:30 to 9 p.m.
Right.
If you have early dining, which typically is 6:15, depending on the ship or the itinerary, you can book reservations starting at that time. If you're late dining, which we always book, you can't book reservations until your dining window has started, which is usually between 7:45 and 8:15. And so you wait until anytime dining books, you wait until early dining books, and then you get to book. With that said, I've eaten there probably almost half a dozen times now, and I've never once had an issue getting a reservation.
That's probably because a lot of people don't even realize the best parts of Chibang. It's free.
That's right. On Mardi Gras, Chibang is included in your fare. Carnival.com actually says it's an upcharge restaurant. So if you're planning a cruise and you're like, oh, I'm going to look at Mardi Gras, it's going to tell you it's an upcharge restaurant, but it's included. John Heald, Carnival's brand ambassador, has even said multiple times, because people ask him this constantly, Chibang is included, and quote, there are no plans to change, quote, the fact that it will be a free offering for Carnival. While the plans for Carnival Celebration as of the recording of this video haven't been released yet, we hope that it continues to be a free offering, but honestly, even if it's not, you're gonna hear us talk about it. I love this venue so much. I would likely pay the $18 upcharge, and we don't go to a lot of the upcharge restaurants.
No, we don't.
So with all of that said, how about we talk about the food?
So our first experience in Chibang was unfortunately on the fourth night of our sailing. We didn't realize it soon enough, but when we did go into Chibang, we figured we might as well try the Mexican and the Chinese food because that's the theme of this restaurant.
Let's sample.
So yeah, exactly. So we decided to sample the menu, And I started off with a couple of different appetizers. I decided to try the taco de asador and the lettuce wraps.
And that first night I had the, I had the lettuce wraps, I had the queso fundido, and I had the pork belly. How was the food?
So the taco de asador, there was a lot of really good flavor there, and the presentation was fantastic.
That's the one that came with it came with like a puree of some sort. It came with a
sweet potato puree, I want to say. Yeah, it was a really interesting combination of flavors. The steak itself had really good flavor to it. Unfortunately, it was a little bit on the chewy side, so not my favorite thing. With the lettuce wraps, however, the lettuce was super crisp, very flavorful. The meat was well seasoned. I have no complaints about that. What did you think about the apps?
How do we say right here, try the lettuce wraps, try the lettuce wraps. The lettuce wraps honestly were probably are my favorite bite on board a Carnival cruise ship. Like you said, super fresh, super flavorful. The sauce or the soy sauce that it comes with. You might be like, where's the chicken? The first time we got them, we're like, oh, there's not a lot of chicken here. But the flavor, the crunch, really good. Sometimes lettuce falls apart and you need to use your fingers a little bit more than you typically even have to do with lettuce wraps, but they're delicious. Highly recommend. The pork belly, I'm just learning that I'm not a huge pork belly fan. It's really, it's a texture thing. There's a lot of fat. I've had it now several times, and every time I'm like, I don't really love that. You didn't love it either.
I'm not a huge fan of the pork belly. I think it has something to do with how it's prepared.
I sailed on Mardi Gras in August, and several people got the pork belly, and they loved it. So if you like pork belly, apparently it's a good dish.
Maybe so.
The queso fundido, though, the queso cheese, it has some mushrooms in it, and it's served with warm tortillas. I'll tell you, it's not super healthy as you dollop cheese
You're on a cruise. Doesn't matter.
Into a tortilla and then stuff that into your mouth. But man, it gives the lettuce wraps for a run for their money because it is delicious.
It is delicious.
Here's a picture here, and a picture here. I don't know if I can do that, but I have had the queso fundido almost as many times as I've had the lettuce wraps. The mains that first night, you did not a weird dish, but you did a different dish, right?
I decided to try something new. I was in a new restaurant on a new ship, why not? So I went with the pollo en mole. Definitely interesting. It had some spiced roasted chicken.
And it was just the chicken. Well, I guess the picture will show, but it's just the chicken on the platter.
Right. And it's served with a 36 ingredient mole. But I didn't feel like there was a ton of extra flavor that was going on there, even though they said there were 36 ingredients.
We don't know what the ingredients were.
We don't.
Because I tasted it, and it was good.
It was good, yeah.
It just wasn't super flavorful.
It wasn't.
I had the Kung Pao chicken, which I would highly, highly recommend. It was listed as one of their spicy items. I didn't think it was spicy, though I did in August. Dee Dee got the Kung Pao chicken, and she was like, it was warm for her. But I really enjoyed the Kung Pao chicken. I got that with the steamed jasmine rice side. Delicious. In fact, I've gotten it several times since.
Right. Now, what did you finish off for dessert with?
I had the coconut tea tres leches, is I think what the menu calls it.
Okay.
Really good. A ton of coconut flavor. Actually, shreds of coconut. So there was the not crunch, but the chewiness of the coconut. My only thing that I would have liked more of was the cream. So I got to the end of that dish and I still had a little bit of cake left, but I was out of cream.
Oh, that's tragic.
Yeah.
So for dessert, I had the crema catalina, which was a very similar style to a creme brulee, but it wasn't quite the same thing. The texture was a little different, and it definitely did not have the spoon test did not pass. Oh, it's actually, it's not that solid. I'm being very careful with my taps. But overall, it was not a bad dish.
Right, it was super flavorful. I enjoyed it. We liked that dinner so much that we went back the next. We skipped a night and we went back 2 nights. And that night we changed things up. We said let's keep trying new things.
The menu's large enough that you can absolutely try multiple nights, different things. So what did you have for your apps on the second night?
The super loaded nachos, the spring rolls, and of course the lettuce wraps.
Those lettuce wraps. So I got the quesadilla. I decided to try the egg drop soup, and I added a sopa as well as my appetizer.
Slow cooked beef and tomatoes.
Sounded great.
And when he ordered it, the server said, you realize that those are both soups, the egg drop and the sopa?
So it must have been a cold day in port wherever we were, even though it was the Caribbean. Honestly, I don't regret getting the soups. Yeah. The egg drop soup was flavorful. It had a lot of egg in it, which I actually enjoy on a good egg drop soup. It had fresh corn kernels in there as well.
I've since had the egg drop soup on my recent sailing. The chicken, super flavorful, super tender. Like you said, a lot of egg, which I love in an egg drop soup. The corn, I don't know if it was like this the first sailing, the corn was a little chewy. I don't know if it was fully done, but it's a hearty soup. Like you could eat that egg drop soup, you could get a bowl of it and eat that as a meal.
Yeah, definitely.
And then the sopa.
The sopa was good. It had some good flavor to it. Again, very hearty, very cold weather feel. And the quesadilla that I got, it had lettuce on it. So I was a little confused with the presentation. The quesadilla itself was a quesadilla. I've had the quesadilla in the main dining room, and I remember that being really good.
It has chicken in it.
It has chicken in it. This quesadilla is literally a cheese quesadilla. I'm guessing it's probably on the menu for those picky eaters that I mentioned earlier.
Yeah, so if you have kids,
they don't have a kids menu.
Yeah, I ordered last sailing. I was like, okay, I'll give the quesadilla a try. It was my least favorite thing in that entire restaurant because it was just so bland. And the sauce that they serve it with, it was not a good sauce. Yeah. Anyway, quesadilla, if you got a picky eater, get it for them.
Yep.
The second night, I had the super loaded nachos. It has chili, it has 3 beans, it has guajillo, it has 3 quesos, so 3 cheeses, pico de gallo, birria sauce, jalapeno, guacamole, crema. They're loaded nachos. They were good. I think I've kind of been spoiled by the trash can nachos at Guy's Pig and Anchor, which are really delicious. These were good. We've gotten them several times since, so try them. They weren't my favorite. They weren't my favorite appetizer.
And it really wasn't a huge dish, as you can see in the picture.
Yeah, it wasn't a huge dish. I got the spring rolls. It's deep fried. It's got shreds of shredded veggies inside. It comes with a soy sauce. You dunk it. If you like spring rolls or egg rolls, you'll like these. And then, of course, we already talked about the... Can we put it up here again just for fun?
Done.
We've talked about the lettuce wraps.
Yep, absolutely.
That night, I think I got... Did I stick with the... I did. I stuck with the Kung Pao chicken. Again, jasmine rice. But I did spice it up. I got the frijoles and red beans and some seasoning. Really good. It was a weird combo, though. That was on me, not on Chibang. Asian and the red beans. But I enjoyed it.
That's the whole point of the mix and match that Carnival's talking about. So for my main on the second night that we went in there, I had the beef and broccoli. I decided to give it a go.
Yep.
The beef was, again, it was super flavorful. A little different than the beef and broccoli that I'm used to having here on land. But overall, there was really good flavor there. The beef, as I recall, it was a little bit on the chewy side as well.
Okay. So there's a theme, maybe.
There might be a theme.
Okay.
Not a bad dish. The broccoli was delicious. Would I get it again? Yeah.
It wasn't as saucy as a beef and broccoli. When you think of beef and broccoli, you think of all the sauce in there, and you'll see in the picture that it had sauce, but it was the beef and it was the broccoli. It didn't have that sauce that we're used to.
No, it did not.
Still good.
Yeah.
And then I had the tres leches again because I guess I'm a person of routine. And
for
you
dessert,
I had chocolate chibang.
The chocolate cibang.
Oh, chocolate cibang. Yes, that's right.
If you are a chocolate fan, get it. It's actually pretty good. It has.
I didn't love it.
You don't love chocolate. You don't like chocolate.
It's
actually.
True. I also don't get the chocolate melting cake.
Oh, no, you don't. I love that.
Anyway,
so it has a chocolate fudge ganache. Super delicious. Very moist and flavorful. And it's actually served with the side of ginger and caramel ice cream.
So strange.
Strange
but
by
you
themselves.
Said it works together.
But if you scoop up both in the same bite, delicious.
It's awesome. So a couple of other things that I have tried. So I, again, as I mentioned, was on Mardi Gras last month and ate at Chibang 3 of the 7 nights. So every night I had the lettuce wraps. So every single time I've gone there, I've had the lettuce wraps. So I'm gonna put it right here. Order the lettuce wraps if you take nothing else away from this video. They're the one item that I've had, again, across every single visit to Chibang. Appetizers, I talked about the egg drop soup, which I've had a couple more times. I tried the quesadilla foolishly. Again, the side of broccoli, it was better than the broccoli, beef and broccoli. It had weird. So much flavor. That side broccoli, it had a little bit of heat too. Oh. So if you don't like spice, if you don't like heat, the side broccoli might not be for you. I would get the side broccoli and the steamed jasmine rice, and I would put those together in a dish and maybe get some chicken. I mean, it was fantastic.
So Carnival, if you're listening.
Yeah, highly recommend. The champignon? Champignon taco. Yeah. It's a mushroom, marinated mushrooms. It's their veggie taco. I was like, okay, I'm gonna try it. And it was flavorful. It was a really wet texture. Texture of mushrooms, marinated mushrooms. Really flavorful. I don't know that I would get it again though. Queso fundido, we got that every single night that we ate there. We got queso fundido. Everyone in the dining table, everyone that we dined with loved it. Dave tried, the inflatitas de camarones. And so it was like this weird air puffed bread or air puffed tortilla, black air puffed tortilla or bread. That had no flavor, and it crumbled, and so there were crumbs everywhere. Later that night, we were picking crumbs off of our clothes from these things. Didn't have any flavor, but the shrimp that it came with, really flavorful. Dave really liked the shrimp, but we left kind of those black balls of air puff. It was weird.
Strange.
And then for dinner that night, I had, or the other main that I had outside of the Kung Pao,
yeah, of course,
was the Camarones Diablo. It wasn't Diablo at all. Like, there was no heat to it. But what I will say is, I took the first bite. I took one of the shrimps and took my first bite, and it still had the tail on, which I wasn't expecting, because they come in. It's served really pretty. I wasn't expecting that, and so that kind of tainted the dish. It was really shrimpy as well. So if you love shrimp, you'll like this dish. It was just okay for me. Yeah. Had the side dish of Hakka noodles.
What is Hakka noodles?
It's essentially noodles with shredded veggies, scallions, soy, and a little bit of garlic. Oh. Kind of like a pad thai, but not. Okay. Everyone that I cruised with, they loved them. I thought they were just a little bland. I wish I would have thought to ask for like a sriracha or a chili pepper paste. They would be great with that addition. I just thought they were a little bland. And then I tried, on the 3 nights that I ate there, I tried one each of the desserts. Oh. So I tried the Chibang, I tried the tres leches, and I tried the crema catalina. Thank you. So I tried one of the different desserts each night. Again, the chocolate Chibang was not my thing, but I also don't love chocolate. Overall, 3 more times of eating at Chibang, highly recommend it. So if you're wondering, hey, should I check this out? Should I take a risk? It's free. Final thoughts on Chibang.
So what an amazing add to Carnival. I thoroughly enjoyed our experiences there, and I can't wait to try it again. I really, really hope that it is an included restaurant experience on the coming Carnival Celebration and Carnival Jubilee. Even if it isn't, we're still gonna try it out.
Yeah.
But if you are sailing on one of those 3 ships scheduled for 7 nights, try to set aside 2 nights to try it out.
And try it earlier in the week, like you said.
Well, yeah, try it earlier.
Start there.
And dedicate 2 nights, because the menu is expansive and there's plenty to try.
Yep.
What did you think?
I think y'all know how I feel about the restaurant. I've eaten there half a dozen times. I love the main dining room. And after 40 Carnival cruises, I still look forward to the MDR each night. Chibang is the only venue, it's the only restaurant that consistently draws me away from the main dining room. And so that's what I think about it. I think you have to try it out. You have to try the lettuce wraps. You have to try the queso fundido. If you like a kung pao chicken, you try that. You heard what we said about some of the other dishes. Try them. You know, you're on a cruise ship. You might as well.
Might as well.
But those were some of the signature dishes, and then we liked all of the desserts.
We did.
We really did.
Even though you don't like chocolate.
Well, I mean, when I say we liked all of the desserts. And the last thing I would say, just some bonus footage if you've stuck around this long.
Yeah, there is a separate menu for drinks at Chibang.
Exclusive.
Not available at any other bar on the ship.
Exclusive to Chibang.
Yeah. So
we had to try it.
We of course had to try it. We had the drinks package. So the first night I decided to try their Chibang margarita, just a traditional margarita.
Yep.
It was good.
Served in a martini glass, though, right?
It was.
Yep.
And then what did you have that first night?
I had, it was the Red Dragon.
Yeah.
I can't do rum punch. Eventually we'll tell that story.
Yeah.
It was rum punch. I slid that over to Rocky, and I took the Chibang margarita.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
I've also had the michelada. I love a good michelada. It was a weird combination, though, with the food choices. Again, not Chibang's, well, I don't know why it's on the menu, quite honestly. It was good. It just didn't really fit, I didn't think, with the menu.
Yeah.
What I did love, though, the lychee martini.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my gosh, it's got lychee puree, Tito's vodka, fresh lime juice. I have had that almost as many times as I've had the lettuce wraps.
Careful.
And you've had...
I had the Jade Stone.
Jade Stone.
Yeah. So it's very green, as you can tell. It's got Midori in it for sure. It's made with Bacardi Superior.
Okay.
And then it also has a white cranberry juice
Which is
and
cool.
fresh lime juice.
Dee Dee ordered that, and that was her.
Delicious.
She was like, "How have I not discovered this before?"
Yeah, but remember, you have to
dangerous.
go to Chibang.
It's a little dangerous though, because you don't really.
No.
Both the lychee and the jade.
There's no alcohol.
There's alcohol. There's just you don't realize it.
Yeah, it's a
Okay.
good combo.
So that's our honest review on Chibang.
Yep.
On Mardi Gras.
Yep.
Exclusively on Mardi Gras.
Right now.
Coming
soon to the Carnival Celebration.
And do we know, is it coming to Jubilee?
I
Carnival
believe
Jubilee?
it's been released on the deck plans for the Jubilee.
Okay. It's fantastic. This space is huge. This space is huge, and it remains huge. We commented, like, we were surprised with how big the space was.
It takes up a
and
large amount of
And they're
real
keeping
estate.
that real estate on the future ships as well. So, as we always say,
Be sure to like and subscribe.
and we'll see you next time.
Bye.